Well, hello everybody and welcome back. It is Jeff again coming to you from the Minecraft Vanilla server, recently updated. Snapshot 15W31C, I think. Yeah, 15W31C. I don't know what's in this particular version of the Snapshot. Obviously, it's not the dual wielding, which is good because I'm in the middle of cave still and don't know how to dual wield, so it's good that we're not dealing with the dual wielding. I dropped off some stuff in my inventory, as in dropped it off. I threw it in a hole over there just to clear up some inventory space. I should have grabbed this coal while I was not there too, to make some torches real quick. I can clean up some more inventory space as well. Oh, wait. There's my shield spot. My shield spot exists. Okay, this is all a little bit different, so that's kind of cool. But anyways, guys, we're back. We're still in the cave. We're still exploring. We're going to make good things happen. Grab a decent amount of coal before we get out of here so that I can just make sure I don't run out of torches here. And ask you guys a question. What is the bathroom like at your place of work? I gotta tell you, I'm not impressed with the one at my current place of work. I work in a hospital, as many of you know, and it's funny, in the emergency department, whoops, that was not what I wanted to do. In the emergency department, it was kind of nice because there's a separate men's and women's bathroom, because there's still a lot of males that work in the emergency department, between, physicians, doctors, or physicians and doctors, yeah, nurses, physicians, respiratory therapists, and all that stuff. And since the emergency department is kind of its own unit, that if you work in the emergency department, most people work in the emergency department. You don't necessarily bounce between a bunch of different places. Whereas if you're like a physician on the floor, you don't really have a place that you call your own unit per se all the time. You often are just on the floor or on the floors, and therefore you have like a physician's lounge somewhere. But the emergency department is nice because you get your own little, bathroom and stuff there. So they have a men's and women's bathroom and, big locker room and all that stuff. And it's kind of nice. And even though there's a decent amount of men that work there, still in the hospital in general, you're going to find that it's more female oriented and more females that work there, because the nursing staff usually is the bulk of your hospital. Like at my particular facilities, there's like 300 physicians, but there's 2,000 nurses is, the amount of people that we have on all those spectrums. So since nursing is still like an 80% female profession, when I have a men's bathroom versus a women's bathroom, as opposed to just like a unit bathroom, it usually ends up being very nice, because I kind of have the bathroom to myself a lot of the time, which is awesome. And it's not a big bathroom or anything, but it's still a bathroom that's kind of to myself. And in the bathroom in the emergency department, the men's bathroom, there was 2 stalls, 2 urinals, a sink, a shower. Not that I ever used the shower in there, but all that stuff existed. Lava. I just think that's funny that it shines through the block, because I don't think it really ever did that before. Until the last episode. I'm not saying that's a snapshot thing, because it did that in the last episode as well. But back to the story. When I moved up to the ICU, for the entire ICU staff, there was one bathroom that everybody shared, and in it was just a sink and a toilet. And that is all. Yes, there was a sink in the emergency department one too. I know I didn't say that, but there was a sink in there as well. Gotta wash your hands. But that was it. It was a particular, I guess through here? Oh, I see you. Yeah, there was a particular one toilet, and that's it. So you kind of, not only did you have to fight for the bathroom, but everybody shared it. So if I was in it, nobody else could be in it at the same time. It didn't even have like multi-purpose. Whereas previously I was in a bathroom that had multi-purpose as well as separated than the women's. But getting away from that, I'm now in an office setting. And the bathroom on my floor it's nice, because these used to be dorms. I think they were only female dorms, though, a long time ago, back in like the 50s. They've now converted them to like offices and things like that and renovated them. So now that there is a men's bathroom and a women's bathroom. Unfortunately, since it's an old building that was, housed, a nursing school back in the 50s, there's not really good ventilation and things like that, especially in the bathroom areas where they have the plumbing. So it's one of those bathrooms that you walk into that it's a little bit like musty and, you know, it feels warm. It just feels humid when you go in there. You guys can kind of understand what I'm saying with that, I'm sure. And it's not ventilated, so there's not a diamonds. So there's not a you know, a fan system that you can turn on in there. So you sit in there for a little while and things start to get going. Things can get a little bit messy, if you know what I mean. And I don't mean messy as in like, oh my god, it's messy. I mean messy as in the smell can perpetuate pretty quickly through the bathroom. And because there's also no fan, the sound in it is very, how you say, things echo very well. So it's one of those ones that if I wasn't the person that I am, you'd almost be like embarrassed to use this if anybody else is in there with you, because if you make any, you know, normal I'm going to the restroom sounds, they're going to echo throughout the bathroom. And, you know, people, just because everybody poops, and we all know that everybody poops, doesn't mean we want to hear everybody pooping. I mean, that's just reality. So I was in the bathroom a couple days ago, and I had eaten something the night before, some Mexican food or something of the sort. Something that, you know, didn't leave my stomach in the greatest position to win a beauty pageant, I guess you could say. And I could feel it. And early on in the morning, I could feel it. The second I had that first little sip of coffee, I was like, well, this day is going to be one of those type of rough days. And I pretty quickly made it into the facilities. Now, I walked in. It was empty. I sat down and I just started blowing this place up. And I mean, I'll tell you, it was just one of those ones that you've seen South Park, that first South Park where they start, I try to remember exactly what happens in it, but where Kenny has explosive diarrhea essentially. And Mr. Garrison's trying to do a lecture about why having like toilet humor is not funny, like why Terrence and Phillip is not a funny show and the kids should stop watching it because toilet humor is really not that funny. And all the whole time in the background, Kenny's just like, you know, going and, you know, keeps running off to the bathroom. He's like, ah, you know, and all that fun stuff going on. You guys, I hope you guys saw it. Otherwise, that just made absolutely no sense to you, but I'm sure you got it enough. So anyways, that's going on. Well, inevitably, while that's going on, hello, I eventually hear the door open as somebody comes entering into the bathroom. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. You know, I got the business to do. I know what's got to be done, and nobody's stopping me from doing it. However, I still want to be a courteous person. I'm not just going to sit there and, knowing that the whole place at this point already probably was not a pleasant odor, I decided to give the little courtesy flush. I've been in there for a little while. There was a lot still coming out, and there was a lot that had already come out. And I gave the little courtesy flush. So I hit that button. I'm kind of like, okay, make sure I, you know, try to get as much of this, you know, gone as I possibly can so I'm not affecting other people, as obviously more people are, you know, here in the office at this point, and they're going to be, you know, coming in and using the facilities and things like that. Because there's only 2 stalls, and it's the only bathroom, so it's not like there's many other places to go. But would I neglect the hell? Dude, that is so crazy. Argus got killed by a skeleton right when I started and made some comment about how they look like people now, and I thought he was just kidding, like joking around about why it was dumb that he died to a skeleton. He wasn't kidding. They made these things look like people, like arms and pulling back bows and stuff. And I mean, skeletons at once upon a time were people, from, you know, what I'm told in myth and folklore. You know, the skeletons that come alive were once people. They're kind of like zombies without the flesh. I guess, what is the difference between a zombie and a skeleton? Is that it? Flesh? I guess in theory that would be it, right? Because a skeleton is the dead. A zombie is the dead. Everybody calls them the undead, but they're not the undead. They're the dead. Like, that's the whole point, is they're no longer living. What do I not want to keep with me at this point? Spider eye. That's the obvious choice, the spider eye. Okay, so, interesting. Saw my first skeleton in the new Snapshot, and he was a little bit scary. Can I get down here? So, anyways, I neglected to think about, or realize the power that's behind the toilets that we have at work. And I flushed and immediately regretted my decision for a few reasons. First one was because I almost let out the biggest girly-like scream in the world as I jumped up off of the toilet because cold water instantly started splashing and hitting me right, you know, you've ever had that happen before where the water not only splashes you and it's like freezing cold water, so it scares you because I was not expecting it, but it also gets right in that perfect spot. I'm talking about the butthole, right where it opens up. It like makes your whole like butt clench, like you, because it's just like an involuntary response. If I went down there, your whole butt just clenches if it gets splashed with cold water. It's one of those things that happens. It's like science or something. I don't exactly know, but it happens nonetheless. And I almost, like I said, almost screamed. And not only that, it splashed up on my balls, too. Like, I was sitting there, you know, I know this is more detailed words than I normally use in my videos, but yes, I had cold water splashed all over my ass and balls is pretty much what just happened, and that I was not expecting, and that's the thing. Had I thought about the fact that that was happening, for one, I would have thought twice about doing it, but for two, I could have been at least prepared. I was not even prepared because I didn't think that that was going to happen, and I don't know why, because, you know, I'm not a dumb person, I don't think. It's something, when I do something like that, it definitely makes me feel dumb. But not only do I have cold water splashing all over my ass and my balls, but I've got cold, shitty water splashing all over my ass and my balls because I just told you that it was not a good day on the toilet, and the reason I did that was for the courtesy flush because it was so bad and had such a foul odor that now I'm stuck with a dilemma of, for one, can I say something? Am I allowed to just be like, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that? Or is that just way too much information for the guy that's now in the bathroom with me? For one, part of the dilemma. For two, how do I clean up? Do I just take toilet paper and wipe it off and hope that everything's going to be back to, you know, a decent feeling way? Like that I'm going to be clean enough that I'm not going to just smell all day because, you know, if you get some poop on your hands, you usually wash it off with soap and water, right? I don't know why I just said it like you guys get poop on your hands all the time. Who, and maybe you guys do. I used to get poop on my hands all the time when I was nursing and doing bed baths and things like that. Yeah, you wear gloves all you want. You can wear gloves all day long. You're never always going to walk out of one of those dirty situations after cleaning a patient and not realize that you might have a little hole in the end of a glove. It happens all the time, trust me. I'm not ashamed to say that I've had poop in my hands because I got, you know, got poop in my hands for doing something nice for other people. I'm guaranteed I've got some poop on my hands for trying to wipe and having the... Have I already been here or is this a different one? Look at that skeleton, he's so crazy. Had poop on my hands for, you know, wiping maybe a little bit too rough and vigorously that it, you know, tore a little bit of a hole in the toilet paper I was using. And then what happens? Like, I mean, you have to have some point of... not contact per se, but some pressure point directly on what you're wiping, or it's not going to clean anything up. It's not going to make anything better. It's not like you just dab yourself with toilet paper and that if you had a hole in the toilet paper, your finger wouldn't poke through. It happens. I'm not ashamed to admit, and if you guys aren't liars, you'll admit it in the comments that it's happened to you as well. But, you know, everybody's not going to admit that. So, what do? Do I just wipe myself with toilet paper and think that it's going to be all good? Do I wait until somebody's out of the bathroom and try to make my way up to the sink, which is right in front of the door, by the way, so that if I was standing in front of the sink and dropped my pants to the ground and started using some of the soap to try to clean myself with, then if somebody opens up the door, then I have a problem because then everybody's just watching and it was in the hallway, and then I might get fired for like indecent exposure or something like that. I don't know how the rules on that work. Or I just might be the laughing stock would probably be okay. I wouldn't mind that. Like, that's fine. Something that people remember you by is, you know, still good. It's like advertisement, right? You know, no publicity is bad publicity. I guess that would be one of the things. But either way, like what are you supposed to do in that situation? Then it crossed my mind. Do I go home? Do I go home and change? And what do you do? I don't know. And what did I end up doing? I ended up wiping as well as I could with the toilet paper and kind of giving the sniff test to myself all day long. God dang it. Giving the sniff test to myself all day long, hoping I didn't quite smell like, you know, smell like poop. But at the same time, once you think you smell like something, when you're giving yourself that sniff test, you're always going to have like a little residue of it in your like nose and think that that's you smelling like that. It's always going to happen. It's one of those things that it's like a mind over matter thing. If you think it's there, it's going to be there. Whether it's really there or not, it is going to be there. And so that was the dilemma I ran into. And like I said, I wiped as much as I could, did the sniff test all day long, but I couldn't risk, because every time I walked up to the sink, somebody else would walk in the door, and then you just sit there and wash your hands. And of course, it smells really, really bad. And the guy who just walks in the door knows it was me that made it smell, because obviously I'm the only one in the bathroom at this point. I could have blamed it on the other guy, but yeah, I'll take credit. There's no blame that really goes around in the bathroom. Everybody understands. However, nobody ever still wants to be there. Everybody knows it happens, but nobody's like, I don't mind pooping in the bathroom next to somebody else who's just tearing it up in there. You know, everybody minds. It's not a pleasant experience to just sit there and have the guy next to you. You feel like, you know, they're about to break the sound barrier with what's happening, and like they're going so hard that the toilet bowl you're sitting on is actually physically shaking because they're just like destroying it so much. I mean, that's happened to everybody. Everybody knows that. Everybody's been that person who's made the toilet bowl shake as well. It's actually really funny when the male and the female bathrooms are not next to each other, but they're like behind each other. And I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about, but where they share the same plumbing, and essentially directly behind where you're on the toilet at, there's also a toilet in the female side, and then you can actually feel because they're connected to the exact same plumbing line. And that's probably the smart way to do things, because it saves on like equipment and equipment costs and things like that. But you can actually tell, like, you'll physically be sitting on the toilet and you'll hear somebody walk into the bathroom behind you, and then your toilet will physically shake because as they sit down on the toilet, because it's shaking all the same plumbing. That's always a fun experience. But either way, guys, what would you do in that situation? Like I said, there's a few options that you could do, and I know in your guys' mind it should be easy because of the fact that you're just sitting here thinking about it. It happened to me. I had to think quick in the heat of the moment on what I was going to do and how I was going to walk away from that situation. You guys can think about it now and maybe either, for one, come up with a strategy for what you're going to do in the future, or what you're going to end up doing is telling me everything that I should have done because of the fact that you can think about it from a longer perspective, not being in the situation, and wonder why I'm such an idiot and did what I did. And a lot of people are going to say you should have just gone home and changed. Obviously, that's the thing you're supposed to do. Yeah, work doesn't always dictate that. When you have to go to meeting after meeting after meeting, or you're worried that you're going to, you know, get fired or miss out on important things, then you can't do that. You can't miss out on the important meetings. That's why they pay me. You know, if they didn't pay me, then I can miss out on the important meetings. If they're paying me to be at those meetings, I gotta be at those meetings. That's what work is. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. More talk about toilets. And I think I just gotta dig my way out of this cave and start heading back towards spawn. There was a lot more to this cave where I originally came down one of these paths, but I kind of lost exactly the direction to where I was going there. So I'm going to try to find my way out, probably off camera, or possibly find more cave, like right here. That's that room. Okay, I kind of know where I'm at. I need to get more sticks. I am out of wood. Yeah, I need to get more sticks probably from right here so I can make some more torches and then start making my way out of here. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode. Jump, 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 jump.